Today, we are going to explore the case of Jessica Chambers, a 19-year-old cheerleader who was burned alive in Mississippi in 2014. This is a story of a brutal murder, a controversial prosecution, and a quest for justice that remains unsolved. On December 6, 2014, Jessica Chambers left her home in Courtland, Mississippi, around 5 p.m. She told her mother, Lisa, that she was going to clean her car and get something to eat. She drove away in her black Kia Rio, never to return alive. Around 8 p.m., firefighters responded to a report of a car fire on a rural road near Courtland. They were shocked to see a young woman walking toward them, engulfed in flames. She had been doused with gasoline and set ablaze, suffering burns on 98% of her body. She was barely recognizable, but she managed to say her name, Jessica. She was airlifted to a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, where she died hours later. But before she passed away, she uttered another name that would haunt the investigation for years. Eric. Who was Eric, and why did he kill Jessica? That's what the police wanted to know. They launched a massive manhunt, interviewing hundreds of people, collecting DNA samples, and analyzing phone records. They also searched Jessica's car, which was burned beyond recognition. They found a set of keys in the ignition, a can of gasoline in the back seat, and a lighter on the floor. But they couldn't find Eric. There was no Eric in Jessica's phone contacts, no Eric in her social media, no Eric in her circle of friends. The only Eric they could think of was an ex-boyfriend who had an alibi and no motive. They began to wonder if Jessica had said something else, or if she had been mistaken. Meanwhile, the case attracted national attention as media outlets and online sleuths tried to solve the mystery. Some speculated that Jessica was involved in drugs, gangs, or prostitution, and that she was killed by a rival or a client. Others suggested that she was a victim of a hate crime, as she was white and dated black men.
18-year-old and her car found engulfed in flames less than a mile or so away. It's a horrible story gaining national attention.
From New York to East Coast to West Coast, people I've never even heard a dream call me, and like Saturday night, they all gonna light a candle for my daughter.
Some even accused her family and friends of being involved, or of covering up the truth. But the police had a different theory. They zeroed in on a man named Quentin Tellis, a 27-year-old acquaintance of Jessica who lived near the crime scene. They discovered that Tellis and Jessica had exchanged several phone calls and texts on the day of the murder, and that Tellis had deleted some of them. They also learned that Tellis had a history of violence, including a previous conviction for burglary and a pending charge for the murder of a woman in Louisiana. They believed that Tellis and Jessica had a romantic relationship, and that Tellis had killed her after she refused to have sex with him. They claimed that Tellis had used a prepaid phone under the name Eric to contact Jessica, and that Jessica had said his name before she died. They also said that Tellis had confessed to the crime to several people, including his sister and a jailhouse informant. In 2016, Tellis was indicted for capital murder and the death of Jessica Chambers.
Chambers, 19, of Courtland, Mississippi, has been found with extensive burns following a car fire.
He pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers argued that the evidence against him was weak and circumstantial. They said that Tellis and Jessica were just friends, and that Tellis had no reason to kill her. They also challenged the credibility of the witnesses, the validity of the phone records, and the accuracy of the DNA tests. They pointed out that Jessica had never identified Tellis as her attacker, and that the first responders had clearly heard her say Eric, not Quentin. The trial began in 2017 and lasted for 6 days. The prosecution presented over 40 witnesses, including firefighters, paramedics, investigators, experts, and informants. The defense presented only 3 witnesses, including Tellis himself, who denied any involvement in the murder. The jury deliberated for 9 hours, but could not reach a verdict. The judge declared a mistrial.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Black all around here. Her nose cavities were black, sooty, tongue was black and swollen, and
Safe to say she was in critical condition.
yes, sir.
The prosecution decided to retry the case in 2018, hoping for a different outcome. They presented the same evidence with some minor changes. The defense also presented the same arguments with some new additions. They introduced a new witness who claimed that he had seen Jessica with a man named Eric on the day of the murder. They also showed a video of a man named Eric who resembled the sketch of the suspect. The second trial lasted for 5 days. The jury deliberated for 10 hours, but again, could not reach a verdict. The judge declared another mistrial. As of today, Quentin Tellis remains in prison, awaiting trial for the murder of Ming Chen Xiao, a graduate student from Taiwan who was stabbed to death in Louisiana in 2015. He has not been formally acquitted or convicted of the murder of Jessica Chambers, and the prosecution has not announced whether they will try him for a third time.
You can't walk me. You gave, how much money did you give him?
Can't remember how it was. It wasn't no more than $10. $10. I said it wasn't no more. Probably $10 at the most.
Okay. Then you went back and got in the truck with all those dudes, 4 other dudes. You know, sitting there. Okay. All right, so she departs, she leaves M&M. And think about it. When did you call her or text her soon after that?
Can't remember. Probably did something, but I can't remember. I don't.
Let me ask you this. Did you go to Baseball and get something to eat?
No, I went to bed for late all that night. I think I went and got nothing to eat.
This was earlier. You're talking about the time you went and got green dot, right? This is earlier.
No, I ain't go to time to get nothing to eat. I don't know, did man. Or later we went to no, we ain't go to time to get nothing to eat. Well, I did.
Did anybody know?
The case of Jessica Chambers remains open, but unsolved. The questions remain: who killed Jessica Chambers? And why did they do it? Will there ever be justice for Jessica and her family? Or will the truth die with her? Thank you for watching Spooky Sagas. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. And don't forget to share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.